discuss our disagreements, how he won't let me play my music in his car, how I eat with my fingers and roll my eyes while the tear staccato courage means our relationship is worth talking about the hard things. I said, as long as I just sit here and listen to you, you're happy. He said, I feel the same way. That was poetry. Dr. King said, I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. It's like that with my dad and I. We choose to love each other even though it is not easy. We do it because it matters. There's a lot he can teach me, and the fact that we keep struggling is poetry. Ajee quoted a line from my poem on Facebook. She heard my words and gave them back not only to me, but the fact that they meant something to her. That was the poetry. When my mama tucked me into bed last night, she said, the thing about being a psychiatrist is sometimes I'll listen to people talk and hardly say anything, but it'll be this great conversation because I can hear the poetry in their words. She said, to heal, you need the person speaking and the person listening. We need the conversation, need each other. That is poetry. Dr. King spoke for needing each other, communicating to build community in order to make change. In his last speech, he said, I have seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we, as a people, will get to the promised land. He spoke for not accepting endings. We are not at the promised land yet, but we are getting there together. Tonight, we are getting there. We are dedicating ourselves to honesty in an attempt to connect on the content of true character, because when we do, we can change things. When our words make us understand why this is not over, why this is still important, then we keep the movement living. So me, on this stage, this is not an ending, it is not easy. I am struggling with what Dr. King's words mean for me. I am white, privileged. I don't know anyone else's experience but mine, so when it comes to talking about change, I don't always share the vocabulary. But that is why it is important that I be here, not just to speak, but to listen, to hear the poetry. Because if we want to make change, we need to understand why it matters. It matters because Sonia cried, because Sam and I connected, because my dad and I are struggling, because Ajee heard me. I don't know how we'll get to true connection, to the promised land, but I offer you a love poem to the struggle. To every past bedtime conversation with my mama, to the hours and pages and pens written out of ink, all reaching for something not yet in my palms. Struggling to translate that incoherent energy that is the power of what we do here, struggling for the words that will build change. This is poetry. This is a beginning.